officially, and I got it.
There you go.
Yo,
All right. How's it going?
yeah. You got to do the welcome to because it's your
Oh
channel.
yeah. Welcome to In Defense of the Traditional Martial Arts Live. I've got Tomo from the Martial Geeks, who's smoking like a true Kung Fu master.
Exactly.
The
And
modern
this
day
angle makes my arms look big, but they're quite tiny.
the modern
But
day Yip Man. Yeah, shh, don't tell anyone. Muscles don't win fights. Especially if
yeah,
you
no,
Tai Chi.
yeah,
You gotta have a big belly. If you're gonna do the Tai
exactly.
Chi, big belly to offset the chi. But that's why
Exactly.
wanted to get you into that. I've had a few interesting debates with some a friend of mine coined this brilliant phrase, cheetophiles.
Oh,
He's yeah, cheetophiles, a bit like paedophile, but with chi energy.
that's actually amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, because I started asking for like video proof like a few months back, just saying, okay, show me that happening in a live situation, and it shuts people right up.
Oh,
But it's a Yang Tai Chi,
okay.
and the arguments of change, they change tactics into the Yang style being like this superior, amazing style that it's like a religion, and it's really funny because like there was a technique I'm going to use, right, He-Man, to display this technique.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's get
Wait,
He-Man and
I
Skeletor.
gotta get my Spider-Man. I gotta get my
Yeah,
so
right.
I can properly replicate that shit. Okay.
Yeah. So there was this technique where there's this Yang stylist, and let's got Skeletor. So I got Skeletor in a nice, strong
All right, so this,
Tai Chi guy. So we've got a nice, strong base here. Chi guy, and he comes in and he pushes this guy, and he like bounces off. He has to go like that because otherwise he'll fall and he'll seriously hurt himself. Now,
okay,
my point was, even if you believe all of this chi nonsense, right? Because this is not Tai Chi. This is, that's the Yang movement, and this guy's in a Yang stance. So that's Yang against Yang. So basically, strongest person wins, which isn't
right.
Tai Chi, right? So my point was, even if you believe all this Chi fudging sort of nonsense stuff that these guys believe in, right? By like He-Man cutting an angle and pushing, like so when you got your strong stance like this, if you push
Right.
back, the energy is going into the stance, isn't it? Like
Yes.
Skeletor's not. But if you cut an angle and push across here, it's going across the center of the
Yeah.
gravity here, so he's going to fall.
It's gonna
So
tip.
my
Yeah.
point, yeah. So my point is, you could do the exact same technique, but if you change the
Much different.
so
Yeah.
it, like and they're always talking about internal styles,
Yeah.
and it's like, but that's not internal. And then, but the answer to it is no, but because he's like got his fa and his chi and his g, and you're like, but regardless whether you believe in all that at all, I had was from a guy. He started saying, "You don't know what you're talking about," blah blah blah, and I went, "But that's the technique." And he actually turned around and said, "Oh, I didn't even watch the video. I'm just commenting on what you're saying." I said, so you're making faith, because he said, "I know the person whose video it is, so I know it'll be good." It's like, so it's a
Okay. So
religion at this
argument
point.
from authority. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
it's a
common.
religion.
Very common.
Yeah. Well, I know this person's good. I already know that it's going. I'm not even going to listen to your argument. I just already know it's wrong. I
Right.
have faith in this system.
You know what's super fascinating? There's a mirror thing that I had last night. There was a video that came, a short video that came in my feed. It was
Yeah,
essentially Eric Paulson showing some like trappy things from Wing Chun for his
yeah,
takedown defense. And it's funny how it's actually spin backwards here, and it's true even in the case where I'm defending the guy, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, uh, like that's Wing Chun nonsense. You're not gonna stop a takedown with a forearm." And then a lot of people are, "Bro, shut the fuck up. That's Eric Paulson," which
yeah.
is true. He's an MMA legend. That's what I reckon.
Go away. Yeah,
Oh, But but it is true that regardless of him being who he is, that is a fallacy. And just saying that's Eric Paulson, he's great, doesn't have to mean that the technique is right. He could be showing something. And then I went into that's a lower percentage thing. It's just framing theory and whatever. But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
fun even when like it goes against what I'd like, sort of in that sense. It still applies to me. It applies to everybody. So that's super fascinating. I'm Yeah,
That's yeah, but you could still something that is
right. And
stupid. You
that's
are
the
right.
whole
Yeah,
thing. Like it works because it works, not because Eric Paulson says so. That's
yeah.
and that's the thing where people are like, well, Misner did that to who, Noguera, or who was it in that shitty documentary?
I know he did that stuff against
Verdun.
Verdum
Yeah, right.
and
Verdun is
against Leo Machida, but it's like Leo
that means
Machida
nothing,
drinks his own piss. You know, like
but it
that's not some.
literally means nothing. So
Yeah,
that's
forget
super.
the fact they've been paid to appear in it. Like
Yeah,
it
like
means even if they're doing it off their own backs, it still doesn't mean. But that's the whole idea, isn't it? That's why they paid the money for it,
it's like,
is for that
oh,
reason.
Verdun was there, but he was paid. It's like,
Yeah,
sus.
put arms up people's backs. Untrained people just go, get off.
Nope, yeah, right, like this.
It, yeah, it's not. So I did a where it shows Vadum doing his,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then comparing that to the
Misner.
arm bar he's trying on Misner, you know, where he's just got two hands trying to. It's
It's so ridiculous. It's like
yeah,
I hope that guy. So far, he's not here, but I really wish that that guy appeared because as I was preparing for the stream, he left a comment, so he was active, and it was perfect timing, like just perfect. Because I think he left the other comments yesterday, and I just checked them out like today, like an hour ago. And then he replied literally like 5-10 minutes before this. So really wish that he appears just so we can hear the comments and that let's have an engaging
they
thing.
yeah, but they never do. You know, I had that guy who wanted to fight me. Do you remember? And I said, all right, well, before we arrange this, you know, to the death feud, like let's do a live. Oh, I ain't doing a live with you. You just want to like size me up and see what I'm like. No, arrange a fight, arrange a fight. It's like no, let's go live and have a talk about what your points are. And
Right,
he
like
couldn't even do that. They never do want to actually
oh,
talk
I
live.
love that to happen. Just talks first. Let's
Yeah,
just keep it that way. Let's discuss it first, and then if you're still nope, you're still closed minded, then then you can spar. But they if they don't even want to do just talking over a screen,
yeah.
they're not gonna do anything even remotely close to sparring. So
No, they're not going to show up. They're not, if they can't talk on a screen, they're not going to drive like 200 miles
right,
to put
yeah.
in a gum shield and get hit. You know, if you can't go on a live screen and face someone,
No, no, don't do gum shields. That prevents
that
chi.
prevents you cheat. Yeah.
The George Dillman toes up and down is the best thing of all time.
Yeah.
That like
I think
has
he
to
had
be.
his tongue up on the roof of his mouth.
It's
But
like you can figure out way better ways like to make an excuse. Like it's still gonna be bullshit, but that's like the worst possible thing that you
trouble is,
can like,
he was thinking on his feet, wasn't he? He wasn't prepared. I mean, but surely he mustn't. Did they? I don't think I've ever properly watched it. Did they spring that on him with him trying to do it on somebody? Was it like he was because he was in part of it was a documentary, wasn't it? And
right.
he tried to do it against somebody that was resisting
Yes, yes.
that. It was planned. It must have been sprung on him, surely,
Right.
because
Yeah, yeah. I
you
think
would have
so.
thought he
I
would have
only
had
watched
better
clips.
excuses.
Yeah, I've only watched clips, so he had to figure something out in the spot. You can see him thinking, like the famous plus, and then he
Yeah.
stopped. Plus, just I got an idea. What I can say, right? Oh, check your comments. I think we have 3 people. Uh, is anybody in the chat?
No comments yet. I've got it up here. But
Let's do some engaging thing. Uh, leave a like emoji in the comments if you hate us, and if you like us, leave a skeleton emoji. Just so YouTube bots see comments.
but you can tell they are haters because otherwise they'd have said hello or something by now. They usually say hello if it's someone friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
It,
yeah, so
and-
back to the Misner the Misner excuses. There's a guy, it's really funny because it's they use it as like proof that Tai Chi works, but it is the biggest self-own I've ever seen. There's a guy, he's one of Misner's students, and he says, if you can move me the way that Misner moves me, I will give you $10,000. But
oh,
if you can't do it, then you need to give $10,000. But it's the biggest cell phone ever because you're basically saying, if I don't want to be moved, you can't move me. You're basically proving the point. Like,
that is hilarious.
I'm going to reproduce what Isner does.
Right. And like you said, it doesn't even have to be a fight. It doesn't even have to be a light sparring. You can
No,
just stand there and wait. That's all
but
you
that
have to
was
do.
my whole challenge. Like, people never watch my video. They go, why don't you go and fight this person? Why don't you go and fight that person? It's like,
Mate, I just
I've
want to
never,
stand there.
yeah, mentioned fighting. I will be operative in what you want. The only bit I'm not going to do is react. Like, I will do anything you want. I will stand any way you want me to. I would.
No, Alan. No. No, but they know that if they try that on you, you do an MMA style takedown. It's essentially it's this. It's this. It's like
Yeah, that's
oh
the mental thing is that we are the hard stylists. Yet
yeah.
somebody just walking up,
Oh
it's like that. That's a shove. I had it with this. One of Misner's students has actually competed full contact, and he does do jiu-jitsu and he does MMA. I've never seen like proper fight with him, just little
yeah.
snippets, which always makes me suspicious. Because it's like, if
Right.
you've not put your full fights up, you've got the fight footage, put it up. Let's
Yeah.
look. On one of them, it was a very amateurish, and I'm not slating amateur fights because
Yeah, sure.
I've only ever, but like, it was a very amateurish, like Sanshu rule set where they were on a platform. If you push, and they had head guards and they had gloves. But the thing is, like, he was very obviously used to fighting full contact, and he's been put against this guy you can tell cannot fight a full
Yeah.
contact. You know, little rabbit punching sort of. not very effective at all. And at one point, he like go barge in, and I'm like, I was like, that's not barge in. You shoved him. It's like, no,
That's
no, there's a video footage. That's the. I went, but you
right.
platform. And he's even gone back now. Like he doesn't even post the footage of it. All he does is he links.
There. Oh, yeah. Like,
He's gone back and he's like that, you know. And it's like you've gone from posting a little snippet to just photographs now. You know, and it reminds me of
it's like,
truthers. You know, like 9/11
yeah, yeah, yeah,
photo from the back where it was ablaze and there was, you know,
yeah,
flames
yeah,
shooting. You
exactly.
know,
They just keep falling back, and
yeah,
it's so hilarious. And it's so like annoying to be in a position like this because, like we talked before, because the same things apply to us. Because like I'm into weird martial arts. You're a Tai Chi background guy. We're not like some pure MMA, like whatever shaved, tattooed pro guys.
yeah,
Everything sucks. MMA is the best. Like we're trying to bring nuance here, and everything that we say to those people applies to us as well. It's just that we show it. So
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
only
exactly,
difference.
yeah. Well, there's a guy, there's a Wing Chun guy. I mean, I'll be fair to him if he's watching this. You know, like he wants to engage, he wants us to work together and all the rest of it. But his thing when he talks about MMA, he goes, but the thing about MMA, it's all the same. He's like, it's all the same. Like, you go anywhere, you're going to learn the same stuff. You're going to fight in the same way. And it's like, well, are you seriously saying that like Khabib is the same as
Yeah, right.
like, you know, Steve Wonderboy Thompson, you know,
Yeah,
is the same as Damian Maya? Like, there's lots of different
it's not
styles within MMA, and
exactly.
you could say the same thing about Wing Chun. Oh, you go to a Wing Chun school, you're going to learn exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
And
exactly. It
you'd be
applies.
closer saying that all Wing Chun is the same than you would with MMA.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, I think if people looked, especially like more traditional guys who are not into MMA but are like into actual testing and sparring and whatever, like the best way to look at MMA is as a rule set. Like
Yeah,
sure, now it's more like it's more and more sportified compared to its beginnings, and it's less of a style versus style. It's its own thing because time has moved on. People have figured out what's the best way to win this specific like game you're playing.
yeah,
Still fighting, it's still real. But just looking at it as a rule set, like that's the best way. Like regardless of like what style you bring, what's your background. It's just this is a rule set where you can test your shit, and that's all.
yeah.
You don't
And
have to choose.
we do have pure MMA fighters now. That is the thing. Like you
Yeah,
get people that start and finish. I train
yeah,
MMA. That's
just
what I do.
MMA,
You know, and
exclusively.
MMA it is a style now. But
Yeah,
the thing is, people go, "Oh no, you only learn a limited amount of." But it's like that's just so not true. Like the moves that
right,
you can use in MMA are infinite and complex, and like
exactly.
and we're seeing it more. You know, when it was very simple. It was like you might do a bit of boxing, a bit of
Yeah,
Muay Thai, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. Like
exactly.
those were your options, and we've seen more and more martial arts where, you know, a couple of 100 years ago where people were going around fighting each other, and
Yeah,
it's like predator and prey, you know, like somebody comes up with something new and then somebody has to come up with something to
exactly.
defeat that, and
Yeah,
it's an arms race, you know, and the more
yeah,
people do things, the more other stuff comes in,
exactly.
you know,
It's
like
just the leg locks are a prime example of that. It's like most people just ignored leg locks, and as soon as one person became successful, that's it.
yeah,
It's on. Everybody has to start doing that. Whenever there's a new thing, like
yeah,
calf
calf
kick was
kicks,
very recent.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Jinx. Like
yeah, and that's something. I don't know if I've spoken to you about this before, but like my Tai Chi
You
instructor,
did
Dan
have to,
Doherty,
right?
yeah, he was like advocating for calf kicks. Like in the late 90s, he was saying, like when we were training for full contact, he's like, no, don't do thigh kicks, kick the calf. Because if you
Yeah.
kick the calf, you've got these nerves that run down there and it makes the leg useless. And I'll fully admit at the time I was training, like I was cross training Kyokushin and Muay Thai. And I'm
Mm.
like, I think these guys, I didn't say
Yeah.
it to Dan, obviously, but in my
Yeah.
mind, I go, I think these guys know a bit more than you do, and I think I'm going to listen to them more. And then, like 10 years
Boom.
later, you've
Everybody.
got, yeah. Well, it started off. It was what was his name? I can't think of his name now. I really used to like him as a fighter.
Uh, that's that.
Henderson, Dan Henderson, not Dan Henderson.
Was it then?
It's something. It's a guy. The toothpick. He used to fight
Oh,
with a toothpick in his mouth.
oh shit! My
For
brain.
some
Yeah.
reason, I
Yep.
can't think of his name, but he was the first one to start doing it in MMA, in UFC. There's other
Yeah.
people done it in different MMA organizations, but he was the first person to start doing it.
Right.
Years, it was a game changer. Now, I think that that was a lesson you could have learned from traditional martial arts, like over a decade before it was popular.
Yeah.
And we're going to see more and more of that. And I do think that trapping sort of skills are the next sort of thing that
I
we're
think
already
so.
seeing it more and more, this sensitivity stuff that people are doing.
Look at Sean Strickland. Just look at Sean Strickland.
Yeah,
That's a perfect example of that. Well, and it feels it's natural progression of like, okay, so everybody's been doing just boxing, then it became like kickboxing oriented, then it became okay, keep your structure for takedowns, but then after that a lot of takedown defense became way better, so it wasn't the, oh, if they take you down you're fucked. Like people started stuffing takedowns, and then
yeah.
like,
Well, and he had Chuck Liddell really changed the
yeah,
game there because
exactly.
he was the first guy to start wall walking. Yeah, it's like
Yeah, and it's like,
up
oh, you're
until
gonna
then, it
take
was
me down.
kind of,
I'm gonna
oh,
pop
you've
back.
took me down. Yeah, I'm going to have to do jujitsu now. And this is what I was saying to you: is like it's something that you really need to breed into your game. Is you get taken down is not accepting the position.
Just
You
getting
take
up.
that and you are trying to get up, and at the very least, you're trying to get into your feet. Then you've got like half got.
Yeah, just keep moving. Exactly. And let's figure out submissions or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
That took me in the first fight I've ever had, first MMA fight. I almost finished with an armbar, just like almost,
yeah.
but I didn't. I fucked up, and it's like I can't accept the position. Like even if I was close with an armbar, a better option would have been if I tried to get up, because then if I fuck up something, I'm on the feet. I'm back up.
Yeah. I mean, there are swings and roundabouts too. If you get a good bite on an armbar, obviously, go for it. But at the same time, you've got to have your out option as well. You can attack the arm, defended it. It's like now I've got to, all right, well, I can swing my leg over and get back to my feet from this position. It's like I was saying about,
Exactly. And
the,
that was the problem, because the almost armbar gave me confidence that I can do something from bottom.
yeah,
Instead, what I should have done is, no, that failed, let's go up. But I stayed there. And thankfully I didn't get like lit up. But still, that was a wrong decision to make in that fight.
the key is like, okay, we're down on the floor. I'm feeling like I've got something I can do worked. Okay, now because yeah, you never want to be under. It's not a good look from the
No,
judges. It's
for anyone, yeah.
I've changed the new argument. People go, yeah, but there's no rules, and
Oh,
what I now say to them is, oh, so you're not as skillful as an MMA fighter, and they're
oh,
like,
that's
what,
brilliant.
what, what? So you can't outfight an MMA fighter. You need to fight dirty to. That's not what I'm saying. Well, what are you saying?
Yeah,
If a boxer fought an MMA fighter, the boxer would win. But because there's less rules in MMA, and they're like, say, show me a technique. Which technique are you using against an MMA fighter that they can't use?
Yeah, perfect.
And they can never
Right.
answer it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I can't. It's always the same, and just cracks me up because removing rules from an MMA fighter
Yeah.
is the worst idea of all time. Like, how is that helping you?
Yeah. Well, I did that video. You know, there was a and elbows.
Okay.
But then they did the, taking down, you're going to have to rely on dirty tactics to get up again. It's like, I fucking
No,
hate that as a
no,
concept,
no,
because
no, that's
it,
horrible.
it, where you can scratch from the bottom,
And he'll do better.
do all of that to you, put his thumbs in your eyes because you
I,
can't quite
I,
reach in, but he can reach you. You know,
it's so
yes,
here
removing the gloves removes it for
exactly.
both of you.
Right. It's the same applies. But I remember a long time ago there was kind of a douchebag. It's a long time ago, and we sort of did a spar thing in a park, and he was saying about like, oh yeah, but like gouging and this and that, and if I could do this, then it'd be different. And when we touched hands for grappling, and we agreed just to
Yeah,
grappling, it came to me, oh, this is a perfect time to demonstrate this. I just simply just some shitty sweep, like a leg sweep. We fell down. I mounted him, and I was like, oh, poke. No more. One eye is gone. Oh, poke. The other eye
yeah,
is gone. Oh, elbow. Your nuts are squished. It's like now I can do all these things. You can't. It's not
yeah,
that this isn't possible. It's just that I'm facilitating it better because I know how to wrestle. That's I
yeah,
can. I was like, boop, oh, gone. Boop, oh,
yeah.
gone. It's like, oh shit. So
When people talk about rule sets, there's even rule sets in street fighting. You know, you kind
exactly.
of accept what you're going to do. There's people that don't
Yes,
hit people on the ground. There's people that
right.
don't poke and bite and scratch because,
Most people won't groin kick, like because
yeah,
most people who fight in the streets are like ego-driven men, and they see it like below them to do that. Like I'm a macho man, so I'm gonna stick to like unspoken rules. So
well, and I
very
think it's
little
also
nut kicks
it's
happen.
like if I do it, he can do it to me. You know, it's that kind of it's an unwritten rule. We are just going to go
What
at it.
if I try and I miss his balls? It's
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm fucked.
that's the other thing. But that's what I talk about as well with these people. It's like, if groin strikes and eye gouges are that important, if they are the game changers that you say they are, why are they only like about 0.1% of all the techniques we learn in martial arts?
Yeah,
If that was all it was you needed, eye pokes, groin strikes, then
that's
your katas, your forms, everything would just be eye poke, groin strike, eye poke, groin strike, eye poke, groin strike.
it.
Why is most of why are most of our techniques that we learn techniques that you find in MMA? Why are 90% of the techniques that we do in traditional martial arts what
I
you
think
practice?
the best example of that was Bas Rutten on like a really old like Joe Rogan podcast when he was saying like he was showing like a rear naked choke and then somebody was like, oh, I just poke him in the eyes. He was like, sorry, what? Then he brought him. Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna keep you here. You touch my eye, I'm gonna break your neck. Whoa, 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 what? No, 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 it's fine. I'm holding you. Touch my eye, I'm breaking your neck. And it's like,
yeah,
okay, okay. And he said, it's not like I'm not gonna go, no, I'm gonna motherfucker break
yeah,
the neck first, and then oh shit.
yeah.
It's like
But the thing is, like when you've got a rear naked choke, some
he's fucked,
they are on
right? Like this.
pokes. Eye pokes are most effective strong position. So
Dominant position.
mounted, you've got somebody on knee on belly.
Oop,
Like
poke.
these are the points put your weight and everything into. And I saw a video recently. There was like a street fight league thing where there
Okay.
was nothing off the table,
Oh,
and these
like the,
two guys,
the street thing that they do on like hard surfaces and shit.
yeah, and
That's
they were like,
insane.
they were kicking each other in nuts. And it was like doing normal MMA,
Exactly.
arguing at the end. He's like, "Well, you only won because of," and he's like, "Well, yeah, that's the
That,
rule set.
but
That's
that's the
that's
thing.
what we."
If I get in a top position, if I can just do this, I can just start doing this.
Yeah,
It's like there's no difference. And it's crazy when you look at those like street brawls, like actual like that like a King of the
yeah,
Street, I think is an example. Like if you see that, most of it just looks like MMA anyway. Like
yeah.
biggest like
Well, because it works.
90%. Yeah, ninety
Yeah,
percent of what you see is typical MMA. So,
yeah. But the rule set in jiu-jitsu, what a lot of people don't realize about jiu-jitsu is the rule set is based around a real fight, or at least the IBJJF rule set is based
yeah,
around a real fight. The reason you get 4 points to be on mount
because
is
it's a
because
better position.
from
Yeah, you'd be just banging
points for
their head.
taking
Exactly, exactly. And you
they're
could be
dead.
poking him. You could be like
Yeah,
cooking, like just
and can rain down blows. That's why you score points for it.
it's
This is all it is the
yeah, and we
behind
talked
it
about
all.
it becoming a
Oh,
bit
you got
more
your
watered
butt
down.
screwed in and all of this sort of stuff. But the original point system is in place around fighting.
Exactly. Like it's I don't know. It's an ongoing conversation, and it's the same stuff. Oh shit, we got technique sponge in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the inside joke from previous. Fuck you. Winged penis.
Longer because I've got to drive up. So,
Sure.
have you got anything you wanted to cover specifically?
Um, I just hope that the guy was gonna like show up in chat, but
Yeah, it never
unfortunately,
was he? Yeah,
that that's just
yeah.
and I know that he's gonna likely he's gonna respond later on, but that's just not
Yeah.
happening. Uh, yeah,
There's a guy. I got into an argument with Tai Chi and this whole cheetah file stuff, and this guy was like, "Well, turn up and fight this guy." And I'm like, "Well, when have I mentioned fighting? Like." I've mentioned it like being touched. I'm like, if I fought this guy, whoever would win or lose, it wouldn't matter. It looked
yeah,
easily form an opinion until I've
yeah, exactly.
along that line. They even to him in the post, like, well, tell you like if he's teaching in London, because they're saying pay $250 and then go to this guy. And I'm like, well, I won't be able to film it. How's it? That was it. That was the whole argument was go and pay $250, turn up to this guy, fight him. I'm like, but it doesn't work like that. And even if I
No,
did, there's no video footage of it. There's nothing that
there's no
benefits me
point. That's yeah.
to do that. They're like, well, this damn bloke, blah, 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 tagged them in it. And I said, look, basically, if I turn up at this event, right, I said, if he invites me, I'll go down there. We can do it on camera. If he can make me jump touch me, we'll double the amount for the seminar. and I will
Right.
become his most ardent,
Yeah, like
dedicated
just like
student that he's ever had. I will like that. Message from him. And to be fair, like I said, I shouldn't have judged him on what other people were saying about him. So that's fair. I wish I could. I wish I could think of his second name. I can't at the moment. It was Dan something, but it's in some rubbish thread, so no one's really ever
sure.
going to pay attention to it anyway. But he got in touch. He said, "I am not one of these people that does the touch and make you jump." He's like, "I come from a striking and grappling background. I just work with people with structure and how Tai Chi can make them better fighters."
Oh.
And then he did say he's
Uh,
had people sucker punch me and fight me, and they've all ended up in hospital. And I was like, your message didn't need that part of it. But
yeah,
I don't feel like tough guy needs to tell you
exactly.
how many people they put. But anyway, regardless, what he was saying was he's not a magic cheetah. He are putting these people up as I've had it before. People have tagged me in these other guys to fight anyone
Right.
because I'm, you know, my freedom, and I don't think that thing
Right.
because there's plenty. I'm not the best fighter in the world, nowhere near it. There's plenty of
Yeah.
people that would kick ass, but I want to see these chi powers like
Yeah,
displayed.
you're being very pedantic and specific. It's not like
Yeah,
it couldn't be like it's not remotely vague. So
yeah,
just
but
such a simple answer to that, and nobody gives it. It's
there's such bad faith, and that's the thing that they reckon
oh yeah,
and their higher plane existence. Yet their whole arguments are so disingenuous that they always misquote you on
yeah,
purpose. They always accuse you of saying things you haven't.
exactly.
Talk about you're just doing this for money. And it's like I'm not making the money. Like that guy I was talking about, $250 per person. So if you've got 20 people there, you're
That's a
making
lot.
what $5,000. Like
That's a lot. Right.
UFC fighters for less than that. It's a weird.
It's
It is a
insane.
grift. It is. It
Oh,
is a
yeah, I know.
grift. And once you get
It's
on that
conning.
gravy train,
Just conning people. That's all it is. Like
yeah,
it can be just completely summarized in that, and it'd be fair. Just conning people, and
yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
I
Two hundred and
do you
fifty
get this?
dollars. This.
Before you go, I just thought of a thing that recently I had conversations, and it's you probably get this too because you've shown like your fights and your showing people, and we're all in the same boat where traditional martial arts all look like fighting, and that's the
Yeah,
whole point. And what I get a lot, especially when there's somebody like there's Emin Bostepi. So he's considered like a really good like Wing Chun guy, whatever. Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't
yeah.
seen him
No, this
or
guy.
do this, but probably has good understanding of the structure or whatever. But he fought William Chung, and he picked him up, sweeped him, slammed him on the floor, and just ground and pounded him to oblivion. And a lot of
But it
people
wasn't
say,
even that. That's being generous with what happened. They had a
yeah,
bit of a bitch slap.
yeah, exactly. But the thing is, yeah, but the thing is, it works, and a lot of people when they
Yeah,
see something in MMA where it's like a body lock and you slam somebody, often that like not often, always that still takes a lot of technique and dedication. Whenever you watch like MMA, amateur MMA fights, a lot of these people want martial arts to be crisp and like
yeah,
super fucking like movie amazing. And when they see MMA that looks dirty, that looks like not like you can't see all the moves specific if you're not trained. It just looks like mush, and then somebody falls, and then they like slam each other. And it's like, oh, that doesn't take skill. Like regardless of the Bostepi thing, again, like
yeah.
that's not the point. But a lot of these people see MMA as that. They see it as, oh, it doesn't take skill, just takes brute strength. So first
Yeah,
of all, what's good about your martial art then? If somebody with just brute strength can just
can
destroy
beat
you.
you. Yeah,
And second of all, it does take technique. MMA
yeah,
is super fucking complex. It's not like, oh, that's just for knuckleheads. You need to have the best technique to
yeah,
be successful. And it's not going to look like movie stuff. That's like people who've never done grappling at all. All grappling looks
yeah,
like random stuff to them. But it's not. It's so
yeah.
complex. They want crisp things. So I was wondering, do you get that with like your Tai Chi? Whenever you show, no, this is actually just like a grappling technique. And
Well,
then it's like,
I get people go, that's just kickboxing, and you're like, well, yeah,
yeah,
because yeah, 'cause I'm punching and I'm kicking, so yeah, that's what it's going to look like. But back to like demonstrations, he does this whole,
oh yeah, yeah,
actual
yeah,
that he had. Still say, no, 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 that's that's not what he's like. That was a long time ago. All this sort of like excuses.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And the thing
Like,
is, oh, yeah, 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 you
yeah,
can continue.
well, I was just going. When you see MMA fighters display stuff, it looks way more impressive.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing about like things like Wing Chun, things like Tai Chi, and like various kung fu forms. It's always like these styles are differentiated from conceptual like things because a lot of those styles were developed from other styles from actual like fighting. So it became more like a difference of like when you like you said earlier where you have MMA fighters but you have Steven Wonderboy, then you have Habib, still MMA,
Yeah,
still, but it looks different because it's a style separation. And I think that a lot of kung fu is that way. But whenever you go too specific to develop a specific like style, you're going to move away from the fundamentals and you're going to focus on more specific elements, and
yeah,
that's where like chisao becomes a thing, not because
yeah,
it's fighting, it's because, oh, it's a specific thing to develop a specific skill that is seen as, oh, this is this versus Wing Chun. Like Baji Chuan
yeah,
has a lot of like ramming, then Wing Chun should be all about pressure, then like
yeah,
various things. And that's why I think it like branches, but the fundamentals should always be the same. It's always going to be fighting. It's like,
yeah. But it's because they stopped fighting, and that's where it went from reality to theory. Well, if I do, and then you have
yeah,
like 9 or 10 moves, whereas the reality is it'd be two and done. I'm just going to cover this comment
no,
here. My last ground and pound is pure example. It didn't work because my ground and pound is shit. It's not just random punching someone. I've
yeah,
got
yeah.
some great stuff I could show from ground and pound. Like, do you do ground and pound rounds?
Oh no, no, we don't actually.
What do this is best thing to develop your ground and pound, right? Is you start off
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. But start there. Yeah, that perfect drill. Perfect drill.
then when up you switch.
Hmm. Yeah.
Give it a go. Next time you're training, give it a
We're
go.
gonna do that.
And yeah, and it really does develop your ground and pound. Is in your guard. I want
Yeah, I know.
Hands on biceps, not on the ground. And then when you've got the bicep, you can push on the bicep.
Yeah, ah, perfect, perfect. We do situational grappling stuff. Like, okay, I have you in kesagatame, and now escape, and then we switch. We do that, but oh, you don't hear Alan? Is the audio shit? What's the problem? Think you were cutting off, maybe.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Well, you heard me, so you can give it. You can
Yeah,
tell
but
them about it. Like I say, next time you guys train together, just do those rounds. Put
yeah.
like 3 minutes on the clock, and just do that. Like I say, if you get up onto your feet, switch round, and then
Yeah, just
switch
like we
partners
did
at the end.
for the comment. Just like we would do dominant position, and then the person in the worst position has to like either sweep, submit, or escape, and then we switch. We should do that, but just with ground and pound. That's what Alan was saying. So there's a lot of stuff. So just for the comments, I'm replying to that. That's what he said. But this will go. I'm guessing you'll leave this on your channel, so people will
Yeah,
be
yeah,
able to watch. So
yeah. And like I
no
say, and the
problem.
other thing is, yeah,
Oh, was gonna say that I never do that in sparring, but
yeah,
just fighting, so much of it just goes away, and that sucks. And that's
yeah.
where the mental game has to
Well,
has to
it's why, but you have to keep you drill it until like hands on bicep.
until
Just
until
drill it until it
exactly.
it just
I think Ramsey Dewey. I think he had a very like a nice sentence that completes the thing. It's like when you get hit in an actual fight, you shouldn't fall apart. You'll just fall back to the training you've done, and that's
yes,
so
exactly.
true. And so if you're training this thing, you get clipped, you'll go back to what you're trained at. So that's like drilling the motion in
Yeah,
you, so that you don't have to
but
think like,
but times when you want to do that, and that is if you want to bait something. Like
oh,
I
sure,
have
sure.
such a good armbar defense.
That's what I
That,
was doing. Yeah, that's why I fucked up. The immediate takedown, perfect position, could have ended the fight right there. That yeah, I was baiting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's what it is.
bring this to a
Well,
close because I've got to get to Nottingham, or I will have my nuts by my missus.
all right. Well, good luck with that. And yeah, we'll do this again. Um, Tai Chi sucks, and I'm and I'm uh, totally not jealous of your subscriber count that has leapfrogged mine. But, that's fine. Yeah, you know how it goes. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Keep each
But
other
man, like I
pushing
remember
forwards.
we were so close, and for a
Yeah,
moment we had one subscriber more than you, and then you
yeah.
got 200 more, and it was
That was
like the
from that.
I felt like DC when it's like, what do you think about this legendary rivalry? And like with tears, well, if you lose 2 times, I guess it's not much of a rivalry, is it? That's like,
Yeah, I just got lucky. I did that one head kick video.
oh yeah, that blew up.
But the
I
funny thing
love that I
is,
tried to make the street fight video, and it's the lowest performing short I have. But then we did the dumb Sistema type punch thing that was so fucking stupid, and that got like the most views.
That was a perfect example, though. When you have someone just stand there like a dummy, you're
Yeah,
always going to look great.
yeah,
Stand there where I hit you.
such a great example, right?
Yeah,
Just that's what like that's what DKU would do.
DKU. Yeah,
Yeah, put the motorcycle helmet, just stand there.
yeah.
Like,
I'm just going to punch you. Yeah, and everyone go, wow, look at that guy. That's what yeah, just very, very quickly, because you just reminded me. There's this guy I commented on. He was a Silat instructor, and he's doing that thing where somebody stands. Not realize this guy is the most eminent self-defense teacher in, like, I don't know if it's France or
whatever. Yeah. Read the comments. Whoops, sorry.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
what was I say? Yeah. So yeah, anyone can look good when they in there.
Yeah. It's so easy. And that's oh, still there? Your camera
Shoot.
switched off.
So I'm gonna go.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Well,
All right. See you later.
I'll leave it to you to close it and I'll fuck off.